Yo guys, what is up? It's your boy TRUEDBZMaster back with another discussion video. Today's topic is something I've wanted to talk about for a while, and now I think it's time for me to get it done. Today's topic is creating character notes. Character notes is something that I don't think people talk about enough when it comes to fighting games, especially when it comes to players that want to advance farther into their specific game. So what are character notes? Character notes are a set of information into a character that you play or fight against. They can be used for general things like combos and frame data, or they can be used for specific things like matchup knowledge and interactions. For this video, I'm going to be talking about them in a general sense. What do you use character notes for? Well, there are two main uses for character notes. Number one is the best way of keeping track of your general knowledge and optimal routes. For example, what's the frame data of a certain normal, or how do you combo from certain starters? With sources like YouTube, Twitter, Discord, and Wiki, information has never been easier to find, and with the growing population of the FGC, finding players for advice is a good way of getting information as well. Even if your information ever becomes outdated, you can edit and add to your notes, providing you with the tools you'll need to become a better player. And number two, it allows you to play other games or take breaks without feeling like you have to start over or play catch up with the rest of the player base. This point is more subjective than the first, but for me, since I have to try and balance multiple fighting games at once, not only for enjoyment but also for the channel, it's difficult to keep all that knowledge in my head and then try to apply them in an actual game session. That's partly why I don't play a lot of fighting games on the channel at once anymore like I used to. Dragon Ball FighterZ is my main game, and Skullgirls, Type Lumina, Cross Tag Battle, and Guilty Gear Strive are more so side games when it comes to the channel, and I've played them for far less time, so trying to play them at my best and continue to learn is very difficult for me. Like I said before, this point is more subjective, but I do believe that this is a factor that every fighting game player will face eventually, either through playing multiple fighting games like me, or just hitting a burnout state from playing the game for an extended period of time. So how do you make character notes? Most of it comes down to personal preference. It's also determined by the game you play and what you focus on in that game. Do you want to focus on offense like combos and mix-ups? Do you focus on the numbers of frame data and how characters interact with them? Or do you have a hard time memorizing your character's toolkit and inputs? All of these are factors in what your notes will look like. To give y'all a head start, let me share how I do my own character notes, and afterwards we're going to be going through an example to show you how I do mine. I break mine down into three parts. Number one being frame data and toolkits, number two being combos and hit conversions, and number three being offensive options and game-specific notes. Frame data is pretty self-explanatory, but in short, frame data is basically what determines your advantageous and disadvantageous state after using a normal, special, or super. Keeping these in mind will help you remember what can and cannot be punished and how to play around that. Toolkit notes are kind of vague, so I'll go over those as well. Toolkit notes are things like Krillin's 214S being an anti-air, Cerebella's different tumbling run follow-ups, May's different Gatlings, and even your assists if your game has them. These notes are very important, so it's best to have some form of this kind of notes so you don't forget crucial aspects of your moveset. Once again, combos are self-explanatory, but hit conversions are an aspect of fighting games that can make or break your performance. Knowing how to combo off things like Super Dash in Dragon Ball FighterZ, counter hits in Guilty Gear Strive, or charge the moves in Melty Blood Type Lumina are things that are game changers and can dramatically improve your skill level. Finally, offensive options and game-specific notes. Offensive options includes things like block strings, mix-ups, resets, and Oki scenarios. Examples like Fukua's 214 clone setups, Noel's 236C key left-right Oki, and Ruby's 214B corner safe jumps. Game-specific notes is information like how to use and punish push block in Skullgirls, how to manage your moon gauge in type Lumina, or how to fight sparking and guard cancel in fighters. This one might be meaningless to you if you only play one game, but I think it's important enough to include as well. Now that you know what to look for when creating your character notes, let's do a quick example. I'm going to be using Jiren from Dragon Ball FighterZ to go through all 3 categories and show you how yours can potentially look. Of course, I'm not going to go over everything, but just enough for you to get a good grasp. For this part, I'm going to be using Jiren's auto combo or 5LLL for our frame data example, and his 236 moves for his toolkit example. So from these notes, we know that 5L is fast and good versus clashes, 5LL is a good stagger tool, and 5LLL can be used in specific neutral situations like jump-ins. Going on to Jiren's 236 moves, Jiren's 236 moves isn't complex, so the notes here are short, but they do give you what you need to understand the move itself and how to use it. Like 236L being fast enough to use in tight block strings, and how 236H can be used as a combo tool anywhere. Now let's go to combos and hit conversions. This part is probably the easiest since so many sources for combos on YouTube, Twitter, etc. are easy to find. It's really just copy and paste, though for team games it can be a little troublesome if your build doesn't fit a certain role or synergy type, but those are kinda rare, and if you like to lab then you'll figure something out. But for this section, I'll show 2 mid-screen and corner combos and 2 combo conversions. Once again, this part is more so about copy and paste, but you do want to keep your information updated so you're not losing out on damage and setups. Finally, we have offensive options and game-specific notes. For Jiren, things like block strings, staggers, and anti-reflex are important, so we'll be writing down 2 of each. Game-specific notes are things like guard cancel punishes and spark baits. These are important as well, and we'll be writing down a couple. I know these concepts might be a bit much for a casual or new player, but I promise you once you write it down and practice this stuff, it'll feel like nothing for you to apply it mid-match. Now that we've made our sample Jiren character notes, now what's left? Now you play the game and try out what you wrote versus different players. Fighting games is not just about labbing and writing down the coolest looking combos or insane mix-ups. At its core, fighting games is about using the tools you've gained through knowledge and experience to both have fun and win. So now that you know how to study your character, go out and take some health bars. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you can help the channel grow and we can become a vast community. These discussion videos take a lot of time and effort to do, so please share it with others if they need the help or if you just want to help out yourself. That's going to be it for me today, guys, and I will see y'all in the next discussion video. Sayonara!